September 11, 2025, began like any other late summer morning. People sipped coffee, commuted to work, and scrolled through their phones, unaware that everything was about to change. Suddenly, a wave of alerts swept across the country. Phones buzzed, TVs blared, and social media feeds erupted with a single shocking headline. Charlie Kirk, a polarizing and outspoken public figure, was found dead in his Phoenix home. The news hit like a thunderclap, sending shockwaves through every corner of the nation. For many, it was almost impossible to believe. Disbelief quickly turned to grief, and then, as the reality set in, to outrage. People gathered in living rooms, offices, and on street corners, trying to process what had happened. Questions exploded across the airwaves and online. Who could have done this? What was the motive? Was anyone safe? Local police rushed to the scene, cordoning off the area as neighbors watched in disbelief. The quiet Phoenix neighborhood was suddenly the center of a national storm, but it soon became clear that this was no ordinary case. The investigation escalated rapidly, drawing in federal authorities and capturing the attention of the entire country. The murder of such a high-profile figure was declared a national crisis. Politicians, celebrities, and everyday Americans all weighed in, their voices filling the airwaves with speculation and concern. Vigils sprang up in cities from coast to coast, uniting both supporters and critics in a rare moment of collective mourning. For a brief time, the nation stood together, united by shock and sorrow. Many saw the attack as more than just a personal tragedy. It was viewed as an assault on free speech itself, a blow to the very heart of public discourse in America. The public demanded answers and justice. Protests erupted, talk shows buzzed with debate, and social media became a battleground of opinions and theories. The FBI was called in, making the case a top federal priority. Every resource was mobilized, and the pressure to solve the case mounted by the hour. Across the nation, people watched with bated breath as the investigation began. Every new detail was dissected, every rumor analyzed. This wasn't just a crime, it was a turning point in American history. The sense of uncertainty and fear was palpable. The hunt for Charlie Kirk's killer had begun. The world was watching, waiting for answers that would shape the future. At FBI headquarters, the news hit hard. The corridors buzzed with tension as agents whispered about the case that had just landed on their doorstep. It wasn't every day that a crime of this magnitude shook the agency to its core. Special Agent Marcus Thorne, a seasoned investigator with a reputation for solving the impossible, was tapped to lead. He was the kind of agent others looked up to, sharp, methodical, and unflinching in the face of adversity. Thorne was known for his relentless pursuit of the truth and his calm under pressure. Years of experience had honed his instincts, and he had a knack for seeing patterns where others saw chaos. He assembled a hand-picked team: Ramirez, a digital forensics ace, Chen, a behavioral analyst, and other top specialists. Each brought a unique skill set, and Thorne knew he'd need every ounce of their expertise for what lay ahead. Thorne's first move: fly to Phoenix, walk the crime scene, and absorb every detail. He believed that the answers always started at the source, in the quiet aftermath where clues waited to be found. He saw the subtle signs others missed: a story told in shadows and silence. A scuff mark here, a misplaced object there, each detail whispered a piece of the truth. Back at the command post, Thorne addressed his team. The room was filled with anticipation, every agent ready to follow his lead. "This isn't just another case," he said, "it's a message, we will answer it." His words cut through the tension, igniting a sense of purpose in the room. The team felt the weight of the moment and the resolve to meet it. They understood the stakes and failure was not an option. Thorne demanded their best, and they gave it. Every agent pored over files, analyzed data, and chased down leads with unwavering focus. The investigation was personal now. For Thorne and his team, it was more than just a job. It was a mission to restore order and justice. Every agent knew the stakes. The eyes of the nation were on them, and the pressure was immense. The search for answers would be relentless. Long nights and early mornings became the new normal as the team pushed forward. No stone would be left unturned. The hunt was on, and every clue brought them one step closer to the truth. Thorne was at the helm, guiding his team with steady resolve and unwavering commitment. The nation's hope rested on his shoulders. And as the investigation began in earnest, Thorne knew he would stop at nothing to see justice served. The FBI launched a nationwide manhunt. Agents from every major city were reassigned to the Kirk case. A 24/7 command center became the operation's nerve center. Maps, Data and leads covered the walls. Agents worked in shifts, chasing every tip. The public was enlisted. Billboards, news, and social media spread the word. A hotline and online portal collected thousands of tips. "You are our partners," Thorne told the nation. The Bureau's hierarchy faded, teamwork ruled. Forensic experts, analysts, and field agents collaborated seamlessly. The mission, find the killer, restore trust. The FBI's full force was in motion. Failure was not an option. In the digital age, no one is truly invisible. Agent Ramirez's team dove into Kirk's emails, texts, and social media, searching for threats or oddities. They scoured surveillance footage from the neighborhood, traffic cams, doorbells, business security. Facial recognition and license plate readers accelerated the search, but human eyes caught the details. The killer used burner phones and encrypted apps, but cell tower data left a trace. Ramirez's team tracked every burner phone near the crime scene. One phone pinged at a distant coffee shop weeks earlier. Security footage revealed a hooded figure, grainy, but a lead. The digital trail was faint, but it was there. Piece by piece, the suspect's shadow took shape. Technology and old-school detective work combined for a breakthrough. The investigation had its first real glimpse of the killer. The chase intensified. The case stalled, until a call changed everything. A motel cleaner, voice trembling, reported a forgotten bag in a guest's room. Inside, a disassembled gun, rare ammo matching the Kirk case, and a map of Kirk's neighborhood. The guest paid cash, kept to himself, and left quickly. Thorne dispatched a team. The room was sealed and searched. Forensics found a notepad with an impression, a list, and at the bottom, a name and address. John Smith, storage unit. The evidence was a goldmine. The suspect had slipped, leaving a physical trail. The anonymous tip cracked the case wide open. The team moved fast, knowing the suspect might realize his mistake. Every detail was preserved. The investigation shifted from digital shadows to a real-world target. The break they needed had arrived. The net was closing. The storage unit address became the investigation's focus, a single thread in a tangled web of clues. For days, agents pored over every detail, hoping this lead would finally break the case wide open. John Smith was a dead end, but the location was real. The name was a mask, but the address was a beacon, one that might draw the suspect back if investigators were patient enough. Thorne coordinated a covert stakeout, plainclothes agents, hidden cameras, round-the-clock surveillance. The team worked in shifts, watching every movement, every shadow. Days passed, tension mounted as the hours dragged on, each moment thick with anticipation. Some feared the suspect was gone for good, that the trail had gone cold. But Thorne trusted the profile. He believed the killer would return to the scene, compelled by some need or unfinished business. Patience paid off. Then, just as hope began to fade, a blue sedan arrived. A man matching the suspect's description stepped out, glancing over his shoulder before entering the unit. The surveillance team held their breath, adrenaline surging. The team moved in, silent, swift, precise. Every step was calculated, every movement rehearsed. The suspect was surrounded before he even realized what was happening. "This is the FBI, come out with your hands up!" The command echoed through the corridor, sharp and unyielding. Silence, then the door rolled open. Every agent was poised, ready for anything. The man emerged, hands raised, caught in the act. There was no escape, no more running. Relief swept through the team. Weeks of tension and uncertainty melted away in an instant. The weeks of work, the technology, the public's help, all led to this. Every late night, every tip, every piece of evidence had brought them to this moment of triumph. The suspect was in custody. The manhunt was over. But for the agents, the sense of accomplishment was mixed with the knowledge that the hardest questions still remained. But the search for answers was just beginning. The nation exhaled. Justice was within reach. But the story was not yet complete. The walls had closed in. The suspect's world had shrunk to a single inescapable moment. The story was far from over. As night fell, the investigation entered a new phase, one that would test the resolve of everyone involved. The manhunt tested Thorne's team like never before. Headlines, public scrutiny, and political pressure weighed heavily. Agents sacrificed sleep, family, and peace of mind. Thorne checked in on his team, reminding them of their purpose. When leads ran cold, they regrouped and pushed forward. Perseverance defined their work. The arrest brought quiet relief, not celebration. They had honored the trust placed in them. Justice had prevailed through grit and unity. The badge felt lighter that day. The arrest brought relief, but also reflection. The case's breakthrough came from an ordinary citizen's courage. Thorne at the final press conference thanked the public above all. "This case was solved because of you," he said. The investigation became a lesson in unity and resilience. Violence meant to divide had instead united a nation. People from all walks of life demanded justice together. The bonds of community proved stronger than fear. The story was written by agents, citizens, and a country unwilling to be broken. Justice is built daily by courage, collaboration, and determination. In the end, hope emerged from tragedy. When people stand together, they are unstoppable. The nation moved forward, forever changed.